Well, he sent us this modular terrain set. It actually looks pretty cool. And I'm gonna do a little unboxing video. This is my first time doing an unboxing video, so I'm kind of excited. I'm just gonna open it up, see what's inside, get my thoughts, see what it feels like, all the details and that kind of stuff. Maybe put some of the walls together. They say that you can use magnets as well as these little pieces to attach all the walls together. I have no magnets with me, so I'm just gonna use what comes in the set. But one of their selling points is you can magnetize all of the walls and then you can take it apart and put it back together and create all these different boards. So yeah, let's get right into it. This is really cool. And they also sent us one of their tanks as well. So I'll also do a little video on that guy. It's a Wolverine tank, so we'll check it out. So inside it comes in spruce just like normal Games Workshop stuff. That's some thick plastic. That thing is like thick. Honestly, the detail is pretty damn nice. Ooh, dropping stuff. So I have no idea how well this is gonna focus. It looks pretty good. The detail looks pretty nice. There looks to be tons of little bits, which a little arm in there with a sword and everything. They say it comes with a bunch of like customizable terrain pieces to customize all the walls. Little gargoyles you can put on the walls and little columns. There's tons of stuff in here. Some of the terrain. There's a lot of stuff in here. All the walls. Sorry, that's all the walls. Really nice detail on the walls actually. I have no idea if this is like the same plastic that GW works. I have no idea how the painting will go, so we'll actually do a painting video with this terrain. Probably get Thomas to do that. He likes painting. If not, I'll give him a hand. These are the little like wall connectors right here that they use to connect the walls. So when you put the walls, so this is half the wall, right here there should be, oh, it's gonna be impossible to see. All right, we'll cut it out and we'll show you. I might need some glue, or do you not need glue for this? I think I might need some glue, or not. It looks like it might be pressed full. Actually, let's go ahead and cut this out. So the reason why I was really excited for this terrain is I'm going to use this for Crusade. My girlfriend, I'm trying to get my girlfriend to start playing some 40k. She got a bunch of Harlequin models and some Eldar models, and we're going to start playing some Crusade. But I don't really own any terrain aside from the stuff that I have from Warzone. I have all of the Warzone terrain, and that's all in Spain. So cleaning it here. So having this modular terrain that we can use for smaller games, I think like a couple of these boxes might be enough for a full table of 40k. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to look like when it's all together, but I'm thinking this will be great for smaller size games like like 1,000-point games or Crusade, and then obviously all the games like Necromunda and that kind of stuff. I believe they have 3 kinds of terrain right now, like Gothic, Industrial, and like Runic. Not Runic, but like looks like kind of Aztec. The plastic feels exactly the same as what I'm used to, the 40k stuff. It's cutting exactly the same. Okay. I should probably look at the instructions, but how? I don't think it should be hard to put walls. Okay, so we have a wall. It's got those little 2 holes, and then we have the column that has these little 2 slots, and I believe it does actually work. Damn. It's actually very nice. And then to pull it apart. Okay, so that's a very good push fit. That's very satisfying. A little bit of a line down the middle, but you can barely tell. Oh, you can kind of tell. That looks a little better. There you go. That's a better. Gotta push it. Honestly, really nice. And then how does it connect to the other walls? Let's cut out another piece and find out. The sprues look really nice. I think there's like 2 weeks left on the Kickstarter. So if you're interested in having like this kind of modular terrain and in any of their 3 styles, you should definitely go check it out. I don't see myself buying this for like purely for a 40k game, to be honest. Maybe like to supplement stuff. I kind of want to see what it looks like integrated with like normal 40k, because having these walls and being able to just add it to a terrain set and adding a bunch of like obscuring terrain, and instead of having to add like full ruins, that's kind of interesting. So those are 2 walls. It's upside down. And then I need to clean it. You would then do what? Let's look at the instructions. Alright, instructions. Push fit together. Oh, you can stack them on top of each other, because you can make really big walls. They come with these little ledges as well. Pretty cool, but I want to figure out how you put the walls together. So I've got the walls, and then what? Okay. Oh. Alright, so the walls don't go like this, they connect at the columns. So this would go like this, that's why there's that cutout. And then here, I take one of these little knobs, I believe. This should push in. Let's clean it up a little. A little bit of a mold line. Okay, so that's clean. You slot it in. I pushed it in too far. Damn it. That's not very smart. So the good news is the push fit is actually really good. The bad news is don't push in too deep. Upside down. Oh, do I need to glue this little thing on? I think I might need some glue. So what I'm thinking is I put this little push fit thing in, right? Ooh, focus, cool. And then it goes right here, but without, you can still see it, there's a little cover right here, this little small piece right here, that I think you glue on, and then that's your, that's what holds it in place. So I'm gonna cut this out, and I'm gonna go get some glue, and we'll be back. Alright, I got my super glue. We're gonna go and glue this little part on. Where did I put the little part on? Here. Okay. And I was just thinking, This is a bit of a pain with the little nubs, but if you're using magnets, the ability to place the magnet and glue it into place before you glue the cover on means when you mess up the polarity, because I always mess it up. You know when like you have like a 40k model or something, you like drill out their torso to like put a magnet so you can swap with the arm or whatever, and you put the magnet in the wrong way. I do it tons because I've got all my arms with my wolf guard magnetized. You put in the arm the wrong way, and there's no way to get that magnet out because you made the perfect hole with the perfect drill bit, and you can't get it out. Now you can put the magnet in there, and if you put it the wrong way, you can snap it out and then glue the cover once it's the correct way. So that's in, and now in theory, wrong way? No. Oh, this one's the wrong way. Okay, so it does work. Cool. So it's not. Oh, that's because that's not glued in place. Wait, what? Why is that so hard? Okay, so you have to let the glue dry first, because if not, the thing comes out. So I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna wait for that to dry while I cut more walls. The walls actually stand on their own pretty nicely, so you can't see it, but the walls, like placing them, they're thick enough to where they stand, and that's nice because we're all used to like the flimsy terrain where like it goes and then it tips over, and I also didn't smooth it down the bottom, so not bad at all. Cool. Alright, so that's 2 walls. We got more columns that I don't know where they go. You get extra bits, cool. Got more walls, more walls. Let's build something a little different. Let's build these tall ones. Ooh, these are cool. So, much longer pieces of terrain. These are the floors. Actually, let's take it all out and let's look at the back. So, we got 8 long walls, 3, 8, 10 little broken walls, a bunch of columns, 2 large walls, 4 large walls, a door frame, and then these really long columns. Oh, so you can stick these on at the end of your walls. That's cool. They actually have a cool photo there showing what it can look like once you put it all together. That's cool. 22 inches long, that is half a table of terrain. So yeah, this does for half a table of terrain, so for the smaller 40k games. But you could probably make some nice ruins out of this stuff for a normal 40k game. I only play 40k, so that's what I'm focused on. If you play any other games and you think this terrain would be useful, especially for like D&D and that kind of stuff, terrain that you can shape around, you can create different alleys, different buildings, different rooms, that kind of stuff, let us know in the comments if you actually think this would be a good terrain for your game, because very, very interested. I've always thought about getting into D&D. I feel like I would enjoy like the character progression. I see myself like building like a little character, and then like you change him up. We're keeping like key characteristics the same throughout the models, like a scout turning into a chapter master kind of thing. But I don't have time for another addiction. I'm pretty wound up in this one right now. Okay, let's get these long columns. Some thick plastic. Damn. The detail on the terrain is actually really good. You've got these like fragments of the wall that are broken, and you've got like the coating or whatever is on the outside chipping off, and you can see the brick underneath. And you got tons of little wires. The detail is very good. It reminds me of GW terrain in terms of like the level of detail. Honestly, if not a little better. Okay. Do you think this is what's gonna get the guys to play Crusade? Because we always talk about playing Crusade, but we never do, because every time we show up it's like, oh, practice game for a tournament. or a new list that we need to test or whatever. Like maybe this might be a good push to start playing some Crusade. Question is, are we going to be able to help ourselves and avoid competitive or cutthroat builds in Crusade? Because they got some like cool relics and stuff you can do. Okay. When 9th edition dropped, I was playing Crusade with my friends on TTS, and we would always end up making like a ridiculously competitive Crusade list. We couldn't help ourselves. It's like you saw a cool combo, like a cool relic with a cool buff or whatever, and like nothing like ridiculous, right? But like imagine like you can give like one of your units +1 to advance and charge, and then I give it to like a character that can take Hunter, and I get it's +2 to advance and charge. And we couldn't help ourselves. All right, wrong piece. Damn it. This one cutting out. Trying to figure out what goes where. So these are the ones that go in. So okay, so that's the 2 ends, and now we need the 2 columns. These are a little hard to cut out. Thick plastic. Thick. This one. Damn, that's really sturdy. Damn. Probably making the camera shake, and Brad's gonna be mad at me. Okay. So, longer piece. Snaps together. In theory. Is it wrong around? Ah, alright. Snaps in. Looks good. Okay. So that's what it looks like. Pretty cool. Then I believe we take one of our walls, and this slots in down here. It's pretty cool. And then this one slot in here. So now you can have large walls for your terrain. That's actually pretty cool. And then these two, now that this is glued, in theory, not gluing it properly. Let's have a look. Ooh. Aha, there we go. Let's pull that out a little more. And push that in. Why does that fall out so much? Alright. So that's it. That's with me holding it on my finger. This does kind of fall out, not gonna lie. So this might be a lot better with magnets. Oh, that's because this thing's not. Okay. Let's put enough super glue and this thing's coming out. So let's try that again. Glue these things on properly. Because this should not be giving to the force. Okay. So that's a failed test. Let's try that again. While we wait, this one here, this one slots into here. And wrong side. That's two columns. The columns don't go to each other. This one goes here. So this one also needs a little. What do I do with the next piece? So you do need all of these little things. Okay, so we cut that out. Cut that out. So we're gonna glue this one in as well. I'm gonna put this little knob over here. Did I just lose the little piece? What did I just do? Oh, it's here. Okay. Panic. I have to go get more super glue. I'm almost out. Alright. So that goes there. And ooh. What we're gonna do is we're gonna let these dry, and we are gonna come back once they're dry and see how they fit. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I've been messing around this terrain for a while now, and I'm gonna show you what I built and what I found. So let's take it apart first. This floor's hard to get out. Okay. So I built a bunch of different pieces just to show you what it can do. And yeah, let's jump right into it. So let's start with the negatives. I think these little like dowels that come with them aren't very good in terms of like holding it together. It's good enough to like where it like holds on its own, and you can place it on this table and like whatever. But some of them are a little loose, some of them are hard to pull apart. So I think this terrain is going to be really, really good once you put in magnets, because once this starts like clicking together with magnets, this stuff is going to be really, really good. And as you can see, it's like super easy to put together and pull apart. One of the things I was worried about was all of these holes on the terrain. I wasn't sure if I'd have to put dowels into all of them, but they come with tons of little bits that you can put into them. So for example, it's like a little torch here at the bottom, a little gargoyle head here, and then at the top, a little gargoyle that sits on the top, just like that. So all of these can get filled with little details, which is really, really nice. And most of these are really easy to pull out, but the little lantern is kind of stuck in there. I'm kind of worried that I'll snap it out if I pull too hard. So I don't know if I would be bothered to magnetize all of these little bits. The big ones for sure. The big ones sit together pretty nicely. So yeah, the little details are kind of a pain to magnetize, I think. They're definitely worth it because like the detail on those little ones is actually really, really nice. On the little heads and everything you can put in. That stuff's really nice. It's just a shame that some of them are very fragile. And I don't know how much work it would be to magnetize. But the big pieces are absolutely worth it. And then the other thing I was worried about is with all this like pulling apart and that kind of stuff. Especially with like all these accessories that you can add onto the walls. I'm worried the paint will chip. So you definitely want to add a protective coat, because like this stuff goes in pretty tight when you're doing the push fit. So I think the magnets will help there as well, because right now like I'm pulling apart. So that's another thing I'm worried about. So I think if you get this terrain, you should definitely look into magnets. I believe the holes are made in such a way that you can buy like they'll tell you what magnets you can use on the Kickstarter, I believe. You should definitely check that out. But I mean, like, putting this stuff together is very, very easy. Slots in, sits together. You can put in like a second wall, so like this goes into here, and like that's what the wall. Here, I'll show you the inside with the. You see, like some of these are like really loose, and with magnets. And I don't have all of the dowels in. There's one dowel missing on the other side, but like that's what the wall looks like all together. And like, it's really nice. And then like you put these on the other end, so like this can sit here like this. Man, you can't even see it very well, so there you go, that's a little better. Like you can have tons of this stuff together, and then say like this wall here, you put it together, and now you can start making like your corners, just like that. And then they come with these little floor systems that I was messing around with, so let's take this apart. They come with these little floor systems like this, and they come, so it's the floor is just a square. It's got two sides with different details on there. And again, this stuff, like if you airbrush this and then just dry brush it afterwards, like I think the detail is gonna pop like crazy, which I'm very excited about. We'll definitely we're gonna do a game with this terrain just to see what it feels like, especially like using it as a complement for our other terrain sets. But then we'll do a painting video just to see what it looks like painted. On the box, it looks really, really nice, and I think with an airbrush and then some dry brushing, this should be pretty quick to make. Anyways, you got the little floors, and wrong way. You slot the floor into the column like that, and it slots in, and your floor just sits there like that, just like that. Now, I couldn't figure out if the supports that come all have the dowel, so I couldn't have this one like next to it like this, because the windows, then there's no point of entry for the dowel. So that's something I'm gonna have to figure out how to do. I mean, that kind of works, to be honest, but it looks weird with the dowel just sitting there. But these are really nicely made for the shorter walls. For these long walls, they don't sit with two supports. You can have them sitting on their own. You see, like some of these push fits are like really hard once they're in, but like once you have these two supports, you can actually take like these shorter walls and like it sits right in there. So you get, let's put in the supports first. Put one side in there, and we put the other support on the other side. Again, I think this is going to be so much easier with magnets. Like this kind of feels designed for magnets. Yeah, because some of these dowels are really hard to push, but do click in, and then you put it on your floor, and like that's how it sits. Like you can have like your wall like this, and it's it actually tips a little bit, to be honest. So you might actually want to connect this to a wall. So if you go like this, and you connect your wall, and then you connect your wall on the other side. Let's go the other way. Ooh, upside down. That's kind of a nice thing, like the walls don't fit if they're the wrong way around, so you can't have like walls that are upside down and you don't notice until you're playing your game. So like those floors sit kind of nicely, just like that, and then you can have your wall on the other side. Like it looks very, very nice. I just don't like the dowels. And then you cover the top with, you know, like details. But overall, I do like it. It's just I don't like the dowels. I want magnets, and I've got all the magnets in Spain, so I can't magnetize any of this. I am a bit of a freak for magnets. Like all my Space Wolf stuff is magnetized, all my arms, all my weapons. So that's why I want to magnetize this stuff so bad. Most of the details are fine. So like the top stuff clicks in very nicely. The little gargoyle, like that gargoyle is like really nice detail. But yeah. This is what it looks like. There's tons. Like you got 8 of these walls, you get 4 of these, you get a bunch of columns, and then a bunch of bits. So some of the bits that I got, like that come in the box, are like these little tree branches that like slot in and sit on top of your walls like this. I couldn't get them to sit properly. I don't know if I'm an idiot or I haven't cleaned them properly, but that's something I need to look into. But like the detail's very nice, and once you add color to this stuff, like I think it's great. Yeah, let's do some final thoughts about like the whole thing. Alright, so final thoughts. I mean, the big question, would I buy this terrain? Yes, but not for 40k, I think. The aesthetic doesn't match any of the terrain that we have. Now, we have the Gothic. The industrial one actually looks really, really good as well on the Kickstarter. And then painted, I think, honestly, actually, let me change my answer. On its own, no. As a supplement for my terrain, because I can definitely see this stuff being like a nice way to break up some like open areas, especially if you're playing like on Gothic terrain, like on ruins and that kind of stuff. Especially to add some texture to low quality terrain, I think this stuff could be really, really nice. But I really want the magnets. Like, if you're gonna get this terrain, I highly recommend you look into the magnets, because once you can start like snapping these, and you get some like strong like rare earth magnets, these will start snapping together. I think it's gonna be really, really cool. The quality is superb. I mean, like, in this wall, this is never gonna focus. In the windows, you have like wood planks, and you can see the texture of the wood planks. So the attention to detail is spectacular. Very easy to put together. I mean, most of it is snap fit. Now, these columns have like a little gap in between them. That's because they're not glued. If you glue them together, it goes away. So push fit, you definitely want to glue these together. And I think that's the intention. I just haven't done that. But yeah, the quality is great. The plastic is very easy to clean. Now, all the injection mold supports, especially like the tall columns, are in some awkward places. So like when you're cleaning it, you kind of eat at the detail on some of the, for example, like up here, it's kind of hard to clean that out. I wasn't very careful. So I think you're careful, you're gonna be fine. But yeah, like tons of stuff. Just like in this box, you get tons of terrain. Especially for like your smaller games, I think this stuff is incredible. Now, disclaimer, I haven't played any of the smaller games. But to me, like if you're playing like Necromunda or Kill Team, like I think this stuff, especially like as an addition to your other stuff, because it's so modular, I think it's amazing. With magnets. You need the magnets. But yeah, that was it. That's my first ever sponsor review. Thanks to the sponsor for sending us this stuff. Like Rampart, like it's honestly really, really good stuff. Again, check out the Kickstarter in the description. And please let me know in the comments any feedback. I mean, this is my first time doing a review. These are my honest thoughts of what I thought of the unboxing and putting it together and messing around with it. But please let me know how I can improve these reviews. What else would you want to hear? What's the most important parts for you guys to hear once we're doing like some sponsor reviews? And let us know if you're planning on getting this terrain and what games you're going to use it for. And if you are going to use it for 40k, how do you plan on using it? Because I think you can do some pretty cool... These walls aren't 5 inches tall until you put them together. And then you got some like really good obscuring pieces of terrain. And like, for example, like this right here. I don't know if you're never going to see this. Okay, so this right here. This is a small ruin with like a little footprint, like right from the top, little footprint. Corner to corner is your obscuring. This is a small ruin, and this looks great on a 40k table. So we're definitely gonna use it. We're gonna play some games. Ooh, the camera's gonna fall over. We're gonna use it for our games. We're gonna test it out. And I think because it's modular, you can make some really nice ruins. You can make them pretty big. You can make weird shapes. We're not stuck to the normal L's that we always use. And yeah, I mean, test it out. Painting is going to be fun. Just because airbrushing a nice like little fade to give the walls a nice little a few tones, and then you dry brush it. I think this terrain is going to look great painted. And let's see how it works in a 40k game, and maybe we'll start playing some Crusade games. But again, thanks for watching. Please let me know how to improve these videos. Again, the first time doing it, and then make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.